Hi guys, I'm Kat. Welcome back to my channel. Ignore the mess back there. I just got home from staying at my boyfriend's and also I haven't cleaned. I've been talking about cleaning. I cleaned my bathroom, which took a very long time, but I need to clean the rest of my apartment and stop losing motivation. But today, with everything going on and, people staying at home trying to practice social distancing and not going anywhere, I decided I wanted to make a kind of a fun video, I guess, or something that I'm interested in. So I'm really interested in astrology and basically, your star charts, your Zodiac and stuff like that. And I was inspired by watching Graveyard Girls or Bunnies live stream about your birth chart. And then I remember a long time ago I watched a Jenna and Julian podcast about their birth charts as well, so I decided I wanted to look into it and kind of just learn about my star chart. So today I thought to myself, you know what we should do? We should have ourselves a nice glass of wine and read about our star charts. So that is what we're doing today. I found this glass at Hobby Lobby after Christmas, and it was like 50% off, so I got it for like $5 because everybody knows how expensive everything is at Hobby Lobby. But cheers. Nothing like a little bit of alcoholic grape juice. What you do is you type in your name, your birth date, the time that you were born, and then like where you were born. So I was born around midnight, 12. So I'm assuming mine was very guessed because nobody was certain. So I guessed around midnight, 12:30. My birthday is November 10th, 1994, and I was born in Barstow, California. So that pulled up my sun, my moon, my ascendant, and my MC, or my middle sky, or my midheaven. So my sun is a Scorpio, which I'm a Scorpio. My moon is in Aquarius, my ascendant is also in Aquarius, and my MC, or my midheaven, is a Sagittarius. Your sun symbolizes the core of your essence of who you are, your individuality and sense of self. Your sun sign is of major importance. So there's that, and then your moon sign describes your instinctive or emotional energies, your innate reactions, and the things you need to feel comfortable or secure with. It can reveal your emotional, genetic, and intuitive makeup, which is kind of cool. And then your ascendant, if I can find it, because I also did this very much out of order because that's just what I decided to do. But I highlighted it in different colors, so I know what I'm talking about. Your ascendant reveals in ways in which you present yourself to others, and as well as the ways in which you immediately respond to the world around you. As such, it describes the ways in which we project ourselves out into the environment, as well as the kinds of experiences we need to have in order to make life meaningful. So basically, the combination of sun, moon, and ascendant describe what you want, what you need, and in the style in which you will go about getting it, which is the ascendant. But I'm going to start with my sun, which is a Scorpio. I tried to highlight the things that were kind of important. This video is probably going to be long, so I would sit down. If you're of age, get a glass of wine, or if not, just get a drink, get a snack, and just, sit down and chill. I read what the sun symbolizes. So basically, it symbolizes your individuality, basically your sense of self. So a Scorpio is actually, it's a fixed water sign, which I find super odd that a Scorpio is a water sign, but it's a fixed water sign, which I think is interesting. I think it is because for some reason I remember the last time I remember reading about a Scorpio wasn't fixed, but I could be wrong. But its ruler is Mars. The key words are transformation, intensity, purification, and power. I like to think I'm a very intense person. My positive expressions are creativity, healing, transformation, regeneration, loyal, focused, pure, intimate, and erotic. Ooh. But my negative expressions are destructive, annihilation, aggressive, cruel, seductive, manipulative, controlling, which is accurate, betrayal, abuse, and possessiveness. So these things aren't necessarily who you are as a person. They could be things that you struggle with, but I know in other cases, these are things that you struggle with in the outside world. So I don't like when I'm betrayed. I don't like when I feel like someone's being possessive or if I'm being manipulated. Those are things that irritate me. But apparently these are also expressions of a Scorpio, which I don't agree with all of these things. I am very controlling in life. I prefer control because I know what my life is like, how life is going to go if I have a sense of control. But if I don't, it drives me insane. So that one I understand a lot. So basically, a deeper view. When the sun is found in the mysterious sign of Scorpio, the emphasis is the subtle and profound, motivated by a need for emotional closeness. Scorpios seek connection and truth. Those born with the sun in Scorpio often have much to learn about the nature of intimacy and power. So, from what I'm reading about this is, I need someone to connect to. I need someone to understand my emotions, but also someone that I can trust to be around, which is actually really very true. I'm a very emotional person, and I'm also a very I have a really hard time trusting people. So if I trust someone, it's a big deal, and if someone loses my trust, it's really difficult to get back. Scorpio is a complex sign with many dimensions of expression. This complexity is traditionally described by the three symbols which are associated with the sun: the scorpion, the eagle, and the phoenix, which is interesting because I have a strange obsession with phoenixes. Each symbol reveals something about what motivates the Scorpio individual, and so what their purpose in life might be. With the sun in Scorpio, strong intuitive abilities help them penetrate to the essence of reality to see things and others as they truly are. Ruled by the water element, Scorpios are sensitive individuals. They have almost compulsive need to face the truth about themselves and the people in their lives. So that's really, really true. I don't like when people hide shit, and I have a tendency, I'm afraid my cat's gonna knock my camera down. And whenever I don't like beating around the bush. I'm one of those people that's very straightforward and tells the truth. I'm an extremely honest person. And it's almost bad how honest I am because it can be really aggressive. And I do believe in my intuition a lot. Especially about people. I sometimes I like to think that I read people really well, and sometimes my feelings and my intuition about people is usually very correct. And I rely on my intuition a lot when it comes to certain situations because it's gotten me through a lot, and it's helped me really fight a lot through life. And so I find it really interesting that for Scorpio, it says that they have really strong intuitive abilities. Scorpio is associated with desire, sexuality, and release. It also relates to the psychological motivations which underpin human behavior through confrontation with their own and other people's true nature. Those with the sun in Scorpio tend to experience life lessons that equate them with the depth of what it means to be human. This insight gives them the opportunity to offer a truly compassionate understanding of human nature to those who can benefit from the most. I believe that everybody has a different side to every story, and I don't think people are assholes just to be assholes. I always think there's an underlying reason, and I think it's really cool when they point this out because I try to understand people in a different way. I don't just automatically look at someone and be like, well, you're just a dick because you're a dick. I like to look into reasons why, but also I don't like to hold grudges. I try not to, at least. It's kind of hard not to, but like if someone's wronged me, I think it's kind of a waste of my time to hold on to that. So I just kind of let it go. It depends on who it is though, but I don't like to hold on to shit because to me it's a waste of time and energy, and I just don't like to do that. Scorpio also governs matters to do with life, death, transformation, intimacy, relationships, destruction, renewal, and regeneration. This sign rules crisis situations, life, death, and decisions, and emergency services. Scorpio also has financial emphasis, meaning that there can be talent for managing other people's resources. Accordingly, Scorpio is connected with stocks, bonds, investments, and strategic decision planning. I do think that I think really out of the box, and I do think that I have great ideas, and that I'm good at making certain decisions, which might sound really like, you know, I don't know, weird, but I do. The sign is also associated with hidden matters such as magic and the occult. All right, here we go. As well as depth, psychology, forensics, criminology, mafia, and any study of unconscious forces. If anybody watches my channel, that's very accurate. I'm all into the spooky and the unknown. Those born with the sun in Scorpio often have an uncanny knack for sensing the subtle or hidden undercurrents in situations. They respond in ways that bring hidden dimensions to light. I believe, as I said, in my intuition and my feelings and my senses a lot. And sometimes I can sense, from what I read from this, I'm very empathic. And so I can feel when there's a disruption in the force. I can tell when there's subtle changes or when someone's hiding something. And me being a Scorpio, I have a tendency of just saying it. But so Scorpios can excel in circumstances that calls for reconstruction, renewal, and reform. I really like that Scorpio is meant for transformation and regeneration because I think I'm very adaptive. I think I come to change really easily. Granted, I'm not a fan of change, but I do have the ability to kind of morph into that. There's been a lot of change in my life, and I've transformed a lot, and I've had to learn how to adapt and overcome and just realize things that are the new normal. And so I like that transformation and metamorphosis and all of those things are a part of who I am as a Scorpio. And I think that's why I like the phoenix, because the phoenix is born from its ashes. So it comes from an awful thing and becomes a new thing. Or like a butterfly is from a caterpillar to a beautiful butterfly. And so I think I like those symbols because of that reason. And I love, or like a lotus flower. A lotus flower grows from the mud. I like when beauty comes from pain and destruction because it just shows that you can rise from those situations. And I think it's really cool. So yeah. They have a flair for confronting issues head on. So this is an issue. Well, it's not an issue, but it's not like it's also not a good thing. So basically, I have a tendency of, as I said, don't like beating around the bush. I'm not that person that'll just let things go. And a lot of the reason for that is because sometimes I'll do things that I don't realize that I'm doing, and nobody will tell me that I'm doing it. So I keep doing it, and then someone gets mad at me. So I've adapted to being this person that if someone keeps doing something, I tell them right off the bat because they might not realize that they're doing it, and I don't want them to just continue to do it and then get in trouble. So, for example, at work, if someone keeps doing something, I automatically tell them because I don't want them to get in trouble and they need to know. And so I'm no stranger to confrontation, and I'm not afraid to be confrontational. I will not just be confrontational to be confrontational, but I'm not afraid to cause conflict if I have to, if that makes any sense. I'm just going to continue on. I'm just trying to do this quickly because this is going to be so long. Oh my gosh. Anyway, in negotiations and discussions, they have the ability to put their finger on exactly what is happening or needs to be said in a given moment in order to bring out change. I really like that because I'm not afraid to ask the scary questions or to point out the things that most people don't. I'm not an ass kisser. I'll kiss an ass if I have to or if it's warranted, but if I don't understand or if I see a problem or anything like that, I'm not afraid to say it. And that does get me in trouble sometimes because, as I said, I'm very honest, and sometimes the honesty can be really, really aggressive. So I don't know. In some situations, that's a really great ability to have, but in other situations, it's probably a better moment to shut your mouth, but I'm extremely mouthy, and I just don't have that ability to do that. Continuing. This ability to call a spade means they can be very effective in all forms of analysis, strategic planning, or conflict resolution. They can also be especially useful in any activity that requires the removal of obstacles from a given path. They can make excellent healers, counselors, and psychotherapists because of this capacity to uncover the truth. By sensing their way down to the foundations of psyche, they gain the perspective to look at things realistically, assess what truly is going on. What's interesting about this is I wanted to go into psychology and be a psychotherapist when I was younger. I never went into it, but it was something that I always thought was really fascinating because I think the human mind is one of the most fascinating things in the world and one of the scariest things. And so I like to learn about it. And I think that's why I like murder mysteries and stuff like that, because learning about the psyche and the mind when it comes to someone like that, especially when it's something you don't understand as a normal human being, is extremely fascinating. And I think that's why people do like murder mysteries and like murder documentaries, because trying to understand the human psyche is one of the most fascinating things ever. Scorpio is a sensitive and subtle sign. I don't know about subtle. I'm not a very subtle person. Subtlety is not a talent of mine. Whilst they may appear calm and controlled, they are easily hurt and need time to learn to trust. Once their trust is given, it is unflinching and loyal. Because they are so sensitive, they know when something untoward is afoot. They quickly sense when others are keeping the truth from them, and this feeling will make them hold themselves back. They often prefer to sit back to assess others first, watching what they were doing and know how and with whom before deciding who it is they can trust. Scorpios tend to be very private people, and even the most extroverted Scorpio will keep certain things strictly to themselves. I don't like going into deep detail about what's going on with me unless it's with someone that knows me really well and that I trust a lot. I'm usually that person that a lot of people will come and talk to about those situations, but I'm not usually someone that will do that with someone else. If I ever tell someone something really, really, really like deep in my psyche, that means I trust you implicitly. And I always thought there was something broken about me, and I could be broken on some level, but it's kind of cool to know that it could be possibly because that's kind of one of my personality traits. It takes time for them to open up and share. They tend to value privacy and personal space. It's true. When feelings of trust and intimacy do develop, then they can be the most caring and generous of lovers or friends. For Scorpio, intimacy is a precious thing that cannot be given and must be earned. I am demisexual, which means that I can't be physically attracted to someone or anything of the sort unless I have an emotional connection with someone. I have to have an affection for them and a trust for them, or else that could never happen. At least I believe that's what that means. I could be wrong. But if I don't trust you, and if I don't want you to be in my life, you're not going to know the most intimate parts about me. I think I trust my boyfriend so intensely that he knows things about me that most people don't. And I think that's very, very, very cool. Their sensitivity, however, makes them vulnerable, and they seek to protect this vulnerability by confronting the source of whatever is challenging them or causing them concern. That's true. By facing problems at their source, they hope to disarm an enemy or a situation before it has the opportunity to overpower them. I try to do that as much as possible. I try to figure out what's going on, what's bothering me, and why it's happening before it escalates to anything terrible, whether it be a situation or a person. I'm that person that will confront you automatically. If you've got a problem with me, I'll ask you about it because I don't want anything to become more than it has to. Their best offense is defense, and they do this with lethal precision. They will confront the truth about themselves as well as other people if it will bring them closer to their goal. This need to face what is going on can come across as provocative or confrontational. Absolutely. Scorpios can appear confrontational, even threatening, simply because they are seeking to expose the truth. That's very true. I think a lot of people that mistake about me is that I'm aggressive and that I'm a very angry person, which I am angry. And my first emotion when things like frustrate me is anger and irritation. But I think people mistake that that's my only thing about me that's like that, and I'm not always like that. It's just I don't like when things are hidden, and I don't like when it's a stupid situation. I don't like stupid bullshit. I don't like bullshit. I don't understand why people will lie about stupid shit or do stupid shit. And it pisses me off, and I'm not afraid to say that. So with the Sun in Scorpio, the ability to uncover hidden patterns means that they can see through any facade and pick up any attempt at deception. It is very difficult for anyone to pull the wool over Scorpio's eyes. They use this uncanny sensitivity to protect their vulnerable feelings and seek out those they can fully trust. Accurate. As much as Scorpios are famed for their intensity, they are also famed for their sting. Learning to recognize and deal with the negative or toxic parts of their own nature is an essential part of the journey toward truth. There is an all or nothing quality about this sign that must be handled with care. When they love someone, they can do so completely. They can be especially devoted, caring, and committed. But when they feel threatened or uncomfortable, they may show a more destructive side, which can be source of heartache and regret. I have a tendency when I get backed in a corner, I'll say things that I don't mean or that are really aggressive to get someone to back off, and that usually doesn't work. And I'll pick a fight with someone and then I'll escalate it more. There are times where I'm not wrong to start a fight with someone, but there are times where a fight shouldn't have happened. And picking my battles sometimes can be really difficult, because when I feel hurt or uncomfortable or anything like that, I automatically put my spikes up, because I don't like being uncomfortable or backed in a corner. Because Scorpios deal in power and truth, they know the impact their words can have. They also know that the words and truthfulness can be used to harm others as much as they can be used to heal. That's very true. Those Scorpios who have not learned to refine their personalities can use a well-aimed remark to destroy one another. I like to recognize every fault that I have, and I like to work on them. I try to be as self-aware as possible, because this says basically that I need to be as honest as possible with myself as with others. I try to be as self-aware as I can be of the way I talk, the way I treat people, my personality, because sometimes it can be a lot. And I can't expect change from other people if I don't have change in myself. I can't expect people to be self-aware if I'm not self-aware. So I try to be as self-aware and as much as possible, because, as I said, I don't want to be a hypocrite. I try not to be a hypocrite, and I try to learn from my mistakes and my positives, and I try to kind of grow within those things. This basically says it is very important for a Scorpio to become aware of their faults, and to just be aware of who they are. Once a Scorpio has embraced transformation, they can operate as a powerful force for change. Not only does their own life improve, they can become adept at helping others to improve themselves. Scorpios are often privy to the secrets of others. Because they value privacy, they recognize the value of what others share with them. Scorpios can act like vaults, holding the difficult truths people need to share about themselves when they need nowhere to turn. Scorpios know the power of secrecy and will keep a confidence with great loyalty. If someone comes to me to tell me a secret or to tell me something really intimate, I will not share that. I am not that person that throws around information like it's crepe paper, because I know that it took a lot for that person to come to me and tell me that, and that person told me in confidence, and I'm not going to disrupt or break that trust that they obviously have in me, because trust is extremely important to me, so why would I break theirs? And I like to think that people know that they can come to me and tell me anything that they need to. I'm trying to read through this just to decide if this is actually important. Born with the sun in Scorpio, your journey is likely to involve learning that through transformation and change. You may see the process in yourself or other people and can develop a great strength through constant cycles of crisis and regeneration over time. You can gain inner wisdom through confronting your own inner demons. So basically, all in all, a lot of this is talking about how I need to be able to understand that my journey is to seek deep within myself and truth, and to just kind of be myself and understand that, and to never, just don't stop transforming. Don't stop trying, like, don't stop change. That change is good, and that I'm apparently supposed to be very good at it. So yeah, we're gonna go to my moon sign, which is an Aquarius. So let me flip to that. Which I found it was interesting that I'm Aquarius. But an Aquarius is also, I think an Aquarius is either an air sign or a fire sign. I can't remember. But I found it really interesting that I'm an Aquarius because I am friends with an Aquarius and we get along really well. So I wonder if that's why. My moon sign is an Aquarius. Whilst your sun describes qualities you are learning to develop and become, your moon in Aquarius describes who you already are. With the moon in the conceptual and humanitarian sign of Aquarius, you are likely to be a unique and somewhat progressive individual. There may be something about you that somehow separates you from everybody else. I've always felt that way about myself, but granted, everybody does. Aquarius is an air sign. All right. I knew it was either an air sign or a fire sign. And so pertains to ideas, concepts, and communication. It as relates to the social side of life in terms of protocol that guides how we interact with each other. Aquarius is also a fixed sign, so just like a Scorpio, which gives qualities of focus, perseverance, and endurance. When an Aquarian moon individual has a clear idea, they are unlikely to easily change it. That's very true. I'm so stubborn. This combination suggests that concept and relationship will be important for you. I can't talk anymore. Your position as someone already on the outside gives you the ability to interpret the world and you from a often unique point of view. I really like that because I've always felt like I'm someone on the outside, but what people don't realize is that when you're from the outside, you're not part of a constructive box. You don't have to see the way everybody in the box sees. You get to see the way that you want to. You have a choice. Why are you sad, meowing? Come here. The emotional qualities governed by the moon are influenced by air sign. You may be at times detached or inclined toward objectivity in your emotional response. This sign perhaps the least emotional of the zodiac, and consequently you are likely to be more uncomfortable with words and ideas than you are with more sentinel or passionate dimensions of your life. There are times where I can completely detach my emotions from a situation, which can be really good and really bad, because it can be good because that way I can move forward and get through it. It can be bad because it can make me a bitch. So it's kind of a gift and a curse. You are likely to feel more at ease with the fact and concept, and may struggle at times in understanding others who are more driven by passion and instinct. This does not mean that you are not emotional, far from it. It just implies you will naturally seek objectivity and reason when it comes to an emotional terrain. Which I find interesting about that is that a Scorpio is an extremely sensitive and emotional being, and Aquarius is not that. So it's interesting that it's kind of explaining two sides of my coin. Accordingly, you may prefer to nurture and support others from a distance, offering cool, clear, and objective analysis to those around you. Rather than getting deeply involved, unless there are other watery features in your chart, emotional interactions may not be your forte. So I don't agree with that. I don't like keeping my distance, and I love getting involved. So I don't agree with that. Your great skill is to rise above emotional confrontation and see the whole story for what it is. You may be well respected amongst your many friends for your social skills and virtuosity. Wow. Can't read. Yet the depths of emotional experience might not make sense to you. You may even feel disdain when you see others giving over to personalized or dramatic displays. Okay, that's true. There are times where I feel like people are being over emotional. Reality manifests itself as a constant objective, independent of us, but as a changeable space of time, consequently is reflective to us, contains both properties mixed in our mind. These properties are confused and do not. Proper image of reality. Oh, that was from something that I didn't need to read. So there are times where I have a hard time understanding emotion, which is probably comes from my ability to detach from emotion, is that sometimes I don't read emotional cues or emotions in general very well, and I can be really abrasive and kind of rude because I'm, again, straightforward and honest, and I don't read the emotions well because sometimes I can be emotionally detached, so sometimes I don't understand why what I say or what I do can be hurtful, and then as I kind of process that and go in and try to be more self-aware, I realize, okay, so that was not that great. So that I find really interesting. You may pour your energies into nurturing the group as you have natural talents in human dynamics. This can at times be at the expense of relationships with those who are also close to you. For many devote more energy to community interests or ideals than you do to personal concerns. I like to think I'm a nurturer for the most part. On the upside, this means you're likely to have natural abilities with groups of people and are able to relate to people from all walks of life, responding to each individual on their own terms without getting too bogged down in difference. You are likely to focus on what is similar in others rather than keep what keeps them apart. Which I like that. I do like to find common ground and figure out, what makes us alike. Why are we friends? Like, what makes us compatible? This is basically talking about what I'd be good at with work. Often this born with the moon here feel more very different from the environment in which they grew up. The outsider experiences felt at a very early age. According, you may be aware of your unique qualities that you tend to instinctively keep yourself separate from others. Unconsciously believe that you're likely to be rejected by them. So best to get in and reject their support and nurturing first. So this I agree with. I live in Utah. I don't think I belong here. But also, I have a tendency of thinking that everybody that I ever meet in my life hates me and is going to reject me anyway, so I automatically kind of put my distance between me and this person until, I know that they like me or know that we're going to get along. I kind of, in a sense, reject them before they can reject me until I can get to know them, because I don't like myself, so I assume people aren't and that they're going to reject me anyway. On the deepest unconscious level, it is your own fear of closeness and rejection that keeps these behaviors in place. That's true. A lot of the reason I don't like to make friends is, one, I'm an adult and I try to be really selective with my friends, but also, I'm afraid of getting close to people because I don't want to get close to someone and then get hurt. So I just kind of stay in the circle that I have now. Others find you refreshing to be around because your ability to remain calm and civil can be especially sort out. Your vision and imagination is collective rather than personal, and you may be instinctively attuned to the future, about to sense what is in the horizon through reading the mood of status quo. I do have an ability to stay calm in certain situations, and try to stay as civil as possible. There are other times, though, that I'm very explosive, so I guess that's my Scorpio coming out. Moon in Aquarius can also suggest a degree of I read this word in my mind, but apparently I can't say it out loud. Eccentricity? Eccentricity. There it is. You may be highly original in some way. If you have creative interests, then this placement you can give a very unorthodox way of seeing the world. Aquarius is also a sign associated with radical change, and you may find that you have a need to rebel or break away from situations you perceive to be stagnant. This is true. I believe that very much. Your need for freedom can manifest in many ways. You are likely to be best in relationships with others who understand the need to give you space. As the moon can also describe how you experience at home, you may tend to move around a lot. This position suggests a person who needs to experience constant change and fluctuation in regular experiences in life. You are likely to prefer light and airy places that give you an overall view. A city apartment, which is where I live now, or a house high up on a hill can give you that perspective you see. A place to live that satisfies your need for ideas and culture will be a good space for times. Interesting. We're almost done. So close. At its best, Aquarius, an egalitarian or freedom-loving sign. Born with moon here, you are likely to have an innate need to establish a space and quality in your own and others' lives. Your sense of objectivity is your best asset, and your ability to connect with others is based mostly on capacity and simply see others for who they are. Deeply original, you will have a flair for independent analysis and thinking outside the box. You can be a great friend and a supportive colleague. Through your ability to see the human condition in all its myriad and amazing forms. What are you doing? Cat's going underneath my rug. So basically, from the moon, because let me go back to what the moon sign means, because I already forgot. It basically describes who you are emotionally and your innate reactions to life and where you feel comfortable and secure. I find that really interesting that because on the outside, I think I'm very Scorpio. I'm very loud. I'm very expressive. I'm very honest. But I think the Aquarius part does describe my emotional side and how I can be emotionally detached, or how I have a hard time getting close to people and then I have to trust them. But I also like that it says that I'm different and I'm weird and I'm unique, and which is very true because I am different and I am very weird and I'm very unique. And I really love when I read these things and I identify with them. Granted, I know that like a lot of these sound alike, and of course you're gonna identify with something, but I just think that it's kind of foolish to assume that every energy, or like we're the only, like humans are the only energy or essence in the world, and that there's nothing more to it. Cultures have been reading the stars and believing in astrology and this kind of thing for hundreds of years, and it had to come from somewhere. So, I don't know. Now we're going to go into my ascendant, which is also an Aquarius. Basically, again, this reveals the ways you present yourself to others, as the ways in which you immediately respond to the world around you. As such, it describes the ways in which we project ourselves out in the environment, as well as kinds of experiences we need to have in order to make life meaningful. All right, my planetary ruler for this one is Uranus and Saturn. Born with the Aquarius on your ascendant, you will find a clearer sense of individuality is gained by stepping back to look at life from an objective perspective. A detached point of view allows for a logical assessment of the circumstances around you, giving you the ability to find out times, lightning fast resolution by key issues. This is a sign of the collective over the individual, the group over the singular. You are likely to have an especially broad view on society that allows you to mix with a great variety of people. The awareness of group and social dynamics is paramount for your overall self-expression. Putting group endeavors first may override purely personal concerns. You may be suited to working with large groups of people, especially organizations or groups that have a humanitarian focus. Usually to open scientific innovation, you can be an early adapter or work with advances in technology. Oh, this is just talking about what I could do professionally again. When your ascendant is... it's almost like, what's weird is my job is talking, so it's weird that it's hard to talk for me. When your ascendant is Aquarius, your intellect may be highly pronounced, and you may also be gifted with strong intuition. So both Scorpio and my ascendant Aquarius is strong with intuition. So both. Able to see the situation in one moment, then making pinpoint decisions based upon multi-level dimensions of information. With sudden flashes of illumination, you see the next step and should learn to trust yourself enough to proceed. The sign and house position of the sun in your chart will give you many clues as to how and where that happens most of all for you. This rising sign is both idealistic, yet practical, and concerned with the benefit of the group. You may be somewhat rebellious and unorthodox. This is as it should be for those with Aquarius rising, as meant to bring to earth their vision of future words. Accordingly, you may suffer at the hands of others because of your apparent eccentricities. You may have played the role of the outsider or someone different from early age and become used to following the beat of your own drum. Freedom is important as it allows you to continue being the rebel or renegade ready to bring out the unorthodox in you. Yes. You will find your greatest happiness comes about when you find the love that is lying beneath. Most outbursts of emotion discovering that vulnerability is not in fact a sign of weakness. You may at times look down upon others when they seek to be recognized and seen as important, for you have an innate dislike of self-centered behaviors. And a tendency to view emotional neediness as a curious weakness found in lesser beings. Opening up to the emotional, passionate dimensions of your being helps you to avoid aloofness, and lets you realize that in order to be truly human, you need to respond with both reason and emotion. I believe that. In this way, you can gain a clear understanding and not just an abstract idea of what being human is all about. Life is best met with a sense of hope and a happy vision for the future, knowing that through the right application of ideas and technology, humanity can be evolved. You are likely to take up social causes, supporting the ideas of liberty, fraternity, and equality for all. Your sense of equality and ability to connect with all can be one of your greatest assets. Even if you feel different from the rest, you can find that the group is right for you if you share your unique perspective. What I like about this is that life is best met with a sense of hope and happy vision of the future. Hope for me is the strongest force in my life. I feel like it's gotten me through a lot. It's getting me through a lot now. Just the hope that I'm going to get through this. And the hope of strength, and that the hope that everybody's okay. Hope has really helped me a lot. And it's really kind of nice to see that it's in there, and also the sense of equality and my ability to connect with people. Because I do think that over time I could connect with people emotionally really easily. I do feel like I'm a trustworthy person. I love that people come to me to talk to me about things that are really emotional and hard to talk about, because not only does it feel good to me to know that they trust me and know that I will be that person for them and their emotional warrior, but it's also, I know how it feels to be someone who feels like you don't have anybody to talk to, and then when you find that person to talk to who's trustworthy and you know is going to keep your secret, that is an amazing feeling, because life can be really lonely. But that was my star chart, basically, and I'm sorry it was so long and so weird and just kind of off the cuff. I just kind of wanted to talk about it, and also I was kind of learning at the same time of reading it, because I highlighted some stuff, but I didn't really read completely all of it, so I was also learning as well. But I just find these kinds of things fascinating. I have talked about in other videos that I live in a strange world of, I believe in a lot of stuff, but I'm also kind of skeptical about some stuff, because I believe in the pursuit of knowledge, and there are some things that I don't know about that I have to learn about before I can make a definitive opinion or thought process. But I also believe in a lot of stuff, and I think that it's foolish to be a complete skeptic, because things come from somewhere, and to think that only humans are the only things in existence, that spirits don't exist or energies don't exist, doesn't make sense to me, because it's such a closed off perspective that I don't get that. But I love when skeptics are willing to learn and listen and understand as well. I like when, so there's two kinds of skeptics. You got the kind of skeptic that judges you for what you believe in and makes you feel stupid. And then you've got those skeptics that are willing to listen and learn and understand. And they might not get it completely, and they might still remain skeptic, but they're willing to let you prove them wrong or to hear your perspective. And I really like that. And so, I don't know, being a skeptic doesn't make sense to me, but at the same time it does. It's very confusing for me, because, like, I believe in a lot. I really do, a lot, but I'm also slightly a skeptic. It's like the logical side of me understands. So it's very confusing. I don't know if skeptic is the right word for it, but yeah, so that was my star chart, and I find them really interesting. If you're someone who likes that kind of thing, I know some people don't believe in astrology, but I think it's just really, really really interesting to learn about. And I've always loved astrology and the stars, and just kind of learning about who you are and stuff like that is just really interesting to me. And I'd like to learn more about it and to see if there's anything else that I can learn about, and anything else that really resonates with me, because all of that did on some level, which is really nice to hear. And just kind of learning about who I am internally, externally, spiritually, emotionally, mentally is very, very cool. Granted, there are some things I, of course, don't agree with all of them, but there's a lot that I do. So my camera is about to die, and I think also lose space, so thank you for joining me in this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you look into your star chart, I'd really like to hear about it. And I just find it so fascinating. It's really, really cool, and I would really just love to hear about it. And I'm actually gonna go and watch Scream for a little bit and wait till my headache goes away, then probably start cleaning. I don't know, maybe I'll take a nap because it's Sunday. Extra Sunday, because things are all like closed and I can't really do much. So I'm probably gonna just chill for a little bit, hang out, deal with some of my anxiety, have more wine, and just kind of chill. But again, thank you for joining me in this video, and I really hope everybody's being safe and healthy and okay. And I really hope everybody's mental health is doing okay as well. That I hope that their physical health is doing okay, but I really, really hope their mental health is also doing okay, because it's a lot. I think I can feel all the anxiety around the world, and I'm sure everybody can. And I'm sure we can. It just feels like we're all just waiting for the next shoe to drop. And that is such an awful feeling. So I hope that everybody's mental state is doing okay, and that they're taking steps for their self-care and to help that mental state. And I know I'm trying to. My boyfriend and I had an art night last night, which was really therapeutic, and I really enjoyed it. So just do things that bring you joy. And you know, in this time, being happy and healthy is very important. So yeah. If you liked this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. I'm sorry it was so long, but it was a lot of information that I just had to share. If you'd like to subscribe, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and hit the bell notification so you can be notified whenever I post whatever it is I'm gonna post. And I hope that you have a wonderful day and a beautiful night. Be safe, be healthy. I love you all, and this is Kat signing off. Bye.